That's the first brown-eyed Susan I've seen this year. There's that plant that I keep calling fleabane. I need to look that up because it's going to become so active with the honeybees, not right here but elsewhere on the farm. Wow, one day later and the water's gone back to just kind of a trickle out of the mountain. But it's still going out in the field. It's still going all the way to the end of that area. It doesn't really take very much. Here is more evidence of that sheet erosion, is what I'm going to call it, where that hard rain, the roots of this. Now this hasn't been messed with by human or animal really for probably 20 years right here, but the roots had not gone down deep enough to hold on, and this is moss predominantly. So I'm beginning to feel it's clear that this was strip mined for clay. I'd like someone, Tom Wessels maybe, he could explain this. He reads forests. I've tried to contact him. He's a professor emeritus in Antioch University, New England. If he sees this video, he might, because I'll put his name in here. He probably would have something to say, and maybe even an explanation of what happened here. Now, as soon as I go into the woods, it won't be like that. That's where I just was. And see what I mean? Here in the woods, now there's barberry, an indicator of human activity here. But after that, this is the way the woods looks like otherwise. Grandpa Jim Weir, there's that yellow bucket. I'm going to have another chance to plug these holes. I didn't think that the water in these natural drains would so quickly dry up. Or not dried up. But anyway, with this little bit of water, I can find where those deeper places where I could put plugs in are. I don't think I'm going to do that right now, but I've got another chance at it. I'm going to go on up to see what the newer and still newer Weirs are doing. There's that interesting tree. I've filmed this before and talked about it. I think it's a beech, American beech, I think. What a story it has to tell. Again, maybe Tom Wessels wants to expound on that a little bit. All right, there are these new Weirs, or bis starters. Here's the Weir for the new bis. And the water did end up coming to the end of where I had been leading it. I muddied it up a little bit right there. But so quickly this water went back to the amount it was supplying in a drought. Okay, once again I've got a little bit of a leak right there, which I'll fix before I go on up. This is the newer Weir, or newer bis. Here I was able to make some minor adjustments, but it'll take a couple hours or an hour or so of work before I could get that water to go into that old skidder track. All right, let's go up and see what's going on at the still newer Weir. Not really any change here. Remember, I just put this down to show the way I could carry water straight down on this pallet wrap. Later I'll turn it to the side, closer to a contour. But while I'm here, I wanted to show you that there's evidence of a real strong flow of water that came through here with that heavy rain. And apparently it did join up into the natural drain. But it could be caught. Let's see, the boundary between our land and my sister's land is this piece of rebar right there. And I'm sure she wouldn't care if I caught it a little higher. I must have, well, no, somebody dug that out. I don't think it was me. There are the rocks that were dug out at one of those two, I call them now N-word huts, possibilities. They might have been just probing to see what the iron ore was like, if there was any there, I don't know. But that's the way it looks from the bottom. Again, Tom Wessels may have an idea on that one. All right, heading back down. I've shown you this before. Here's where I had a fountain going and I'd like to restore it. I'm on my sister's land. And once again, just in case Tom Wessels sees this video, here's what I called the bench oak for a long time. But I think it might be evidence of what's called a bent tree, maybe. Done purposely by Native Americans. So I've filmed this before, kind of a wonder. Huge oak. I've filmed this before. That's that lone folk hut that we built a certain amount and then stopped, and I started to take it back apart. But it'll stand there to give you an idea of how high and long and wide, well, not quite wide because the roof's not on it, a folk hut will be. Imagine one of those on top of where there are now concrete blocks, on top of those folk cabins way down there that I'm building 7 of them. And you'll get some idea of the height. That's why I'm going to be calling them folk towers. I'm walking down the tram road. That's the old name for it, very old name for it. And you can see how the leaves were bunched up by that torrent and came shooting down through here. Check dams, I guess you could call them, that form automatically. You should remember this as Michael Weir, the site of a bridge that I've gathered material for. What I wanted to show you here is looking up this fence line. The pigs had access to the right of it. They did not to the left of it. And it looks basically the same. Now I'm going to compare that with what I want to show you going down that way. Back there is where I was. And this may be too subtle to notice or to show on the camera. But to my right, pigs did not have access to that. To the left of the fence, pigs did have access to that. And the understory, the growth of the vegetation is so different. It's fuller, it's greener. Now it could be, I don't think that's my imagination, but it could be because I irrigated that for a while whenever I could in the spring. I diverted water over there, which I did not do up here. That could be what I'm seeing, and maybe I'm just imagining it, I don't know. But that's the way the understory looks here, where pigs have had access to it. And you see over there, pigs have had access to that too, and it doesn't look green. Well, now that wasn't irrigated.